I think, Alex, this will only reinforce the view that we live in some kind of two-tier society. Now, we saw Birmingham City Council light up the Library of Birmingham green and white in commemoration of Pakistan Independence Day, as they had enforced the mass removal of Union Jack and St. George's Cross flags. And I think that what I have a real problem with is that far too many of our public institutions, Alex, I think they're more than happy to celebrate the national heritage, history, and traditions of other countries, especially countries where sizable ethnic minorities living in England originate from. But there's an unease, there's a squeamishness when it comes to British pride and English identity. And those expressions are almost clamped down on. And I have to say, this excuse that this mass removal of Union Jack and St. George's Cross flags is down to health and safety grounds. There's a risk of killing motorists and pedestrians. I have to say, I'm not quite convinced.
Yeah, I think you and many people won't be convinced on that one, myself included. This is like an ongoing battle now, isn't it? Because we saw not that long ago where school children were told to celebrate national cultures, come in dressed as their national identity, and there was a few cases where children had gone dressed in Union flag dresses and another similar type attire, and were sent home by school. So it seems to me that perhaps this issue runs far deeper than most people suspect it does. It doesn't just run into our councils, but perhaps into our education system too.
No, absolutely. I think it's wormed its way in a variety of sectors and public institutions, and I think there has been that development of a unhealthy anti-British culture within our educational institutions. And I make this point: if we're a truly multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-faith society, and a very confident one, then of course there has to be space for celebrating British national pride and English identity as well. And I think that case there, where I believe you're referring to a schoolgirl who wore a Union Jack flag dress, to essentially be told that this has no place in an occasion of national celebrations in modern day England. I think that tells you how far gone we actually are on this front.
Yeah, and Dr. Rakib, is the solution to this celebrating things like St. George's Day, having those as national bank holidays, perhaps to give people a day where they can celebrate their at least native cultural identity? Because as you correctly say there, we do celebrate lots of other nationalities, we do celebrate lots of diversity days, but British people, at least some of the feeling is that they don't have a day where they can celebrate these things. They're told to share it with other people, and that actually that perhaps having those tendencies or celebrating these things is far right.
Yeah, I think a big problem is that there's a specific problem here in that Scottish and Welsh identity, that there's progressive liberals who feel quite confident in terms of celebrating those forms of national identity, but there's an unease and squeamishness when it comes to English identity. I think that's a particular problem that we have here in England. But I think I'd go even further than possibly what you're suggesting here, Alex. I actually think there needs to be a reassertion of British national pride and English identity within public institutions, and I think that includes the kind of flags that you raise on civic buildings. For me, I think that when it comes to foreign flags and ideological activist flags such as Pride, I don't think they should be flown on civic buildings unless it's very, very special occasion. That is very rare, and I think that it should be restricted, especially in England, to Union Jack flags, the St. George's Cross flags, and also county flags, and also town flags with their relevant mottos.